Okay, Reggie. So, with the allegations and stuff that are out there now, from KPD and stuff, we do have seemingly a new batch of viewers, and new listeners. So, I wanted to go over some of the kind of common questions that I've seen or comments that I've seen, on videos when it comes to the conspiracy stuff, and just have you address it very briefly, just as a quick overview for people that are new. 'Cause, they may not think that you've addressed this stuff before, or they don't want to search for it. So the first thing I want to ask you about is, when it comes to the conspiracies, they like to talk about the walkie-talkies and how Snoop had a walkie-talkie, or how all that went down. If you want to explain that briefly.
Well, it's not Snoop that had the walkie-talkies, it's security. I believe that if what Warren G says is accurate, it's that they heard the chatter of the back and forth of the security talking, because that's the only radio that they would have. They ain't heard the homeboys or Suge, well, definitely not Suge, or anything like that talking on the radio. They would just heard the security going back and forth. And I believe that was the chatter that they heard. If y'all listen to the interview we did with Big Flossie, where Big Flossie told y'all what happened. He said he was there. Kenneth and Marcus got information that it went down, and Snoop was like, I'm ready to go home. So could you just explain to us, because I know you told me you were there. I didn't know you were there and how that went down until you called me and told me this week.
Yeah.
Recap it for me right quick.
All right, well, shit. The night Pac got killed, man, we was all together, man. We was over at Warren G house.
Who was we?
I can tell you everybody was in the house. When Lil Half Dead was riding with me, we showed up to Warren G house, and this how the night started. The door was open. We walked in the house. Warren G came down talking shit like, oh man, don't walk in my house, just walk. But at this time, he had a Mexican dude over there that was training his dogs. Warren G had some pit bulls. The Mexican dude was up there, and they was training the dogs in the house. Okay. So we was there. Warren let us sit down. We was sitting downstairs watching TV. Snoop and him hadn't pulled up yet. Warren G father pulled up and his sister pulled up. So we sitting in Warren house. Next thing you know, Snoop pulls up. It was Snoop and Marcus and Kenny, his security. You know who I'm talking about,
I know.
Rich. Yeah. A lot of people, all the shit to be talked about, you never hear about Marcus and Kenny because they really wasn't, death row. They wasn't no gang members. They was just straight, clean cut. That was Snoop's security.
They worked for me, actually, right? Way Protective Services. I don't want to brought them around. They actually were two Inglewood Unified School Police Reserves, but yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, Marcus and Kenny, they was cool. I'm pretty sure they got a story to tell. But so they pulled up, it was just Snoop and them. So we sitting there functioning, we all there partying. So we all know I knew my little brother and all them was in Vegas, and we knew Nate Dogg was in Vegas. Okay. So we watching the fight, and soon after the fight, I get a call from my brother. My brother had been in the room with Nate Dogg. They was in the room. So he told me that Nate had got the call about what happened. So my brother called me and told me what happened. I told everybody in the house, and we turned it to Channel 7 Eyewitness News. I'll never forget. As soon as we turned the news on, it was the black BMW. You know what I'm saying? And then we was just all sitting there just stunned for a minute.
Okay.
And then next thing you know, we sat around for a minute. The couple of phone calls, everybody's phones is ringing. Next thing I know, Marcus and Kenny got Snoop ass up out of there, and they went back to Claremont.
Okay, let's put some clarity on this now, because Warren got a story out there.
Well, yeah, I can't.
And I know you and Warren are still cool, and I ain't here to try to mess up relationships.
Well, I didn't get to hear any interview. Well, so what did Warren say? What is he stating?
And he pretty much telling us that, and I know you didn't hear it, but we played it for the listeners who haven't heard it.
Okay.
But he was on Drink Champ, and he said that they were at the house and they heard over a radio that Snoop had, a walkie-talkie, got him, and all of the commotion regarding the shooting and the incident in Vegas. And then that's when they got out. Okay.
No. I mean, Warren, my boy, but no, it wasn't. It wasn't no radio. I got a phone call from my brother. You know what I'm saying? And I told them. And then we turned it right to the news. There wasn't no loud radio on because we was all eating and, everybody was chilling, doing what we do. You know what I'm saying? But no, it wasn't no radio where we could hear what was going on. It was phone calls being made.
You know, Reggie, ever since the City situation happened and we've been covering it ongoing, it reminds me how important it is to have a good lawyer on your team. That's why I'm glad to bring to you Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. They have over 1,000 attorneys operating in all 50 states, and when you are seriously hurt, your injury could be worth millions. Morgan & Morgan don't settle for the lowball offers. They fight for every dollar you deserve if you become their client. Just recently, they achieved some significant verdicts for their clients, $12 million in Florida, 34 times the highest insurance offer, and $26 million in Philadelphia, which is over 40 times the highest insurance offer. With Morgan & Morgan, there's no upfront costs and the fee is absolutely free unless you win. And it only takes a few minutes to see if you have a case. If you've ever been seriously injured, your case can be worth millions, and you're only a few clicks away from finding out if you could change your life. It's easy to start your claim now. You can visit forthepeople.com/bomb, or you can scan the QR code with your phone's camera in the corner.
So there were radios that security had, and then there was radios that the homeboys, and they all were on this Nextel type radio. It wasn't even called Nextel then. It was called another company. But they eventually, Nextel bought them and took over the company. Okay?
Okay, the next one that I want to ask you about, which is a ridiculous one nonetheless, but people thinking that your dad was on the MGM surveillance footage that night.
My dad, having had a hair full of hair, my dad has always been bald in the front. But hey, my dad told y'all where he was at when it happened. For those, my dad wasn't even that thick at that time. He's always been a smaller built guy. I'll give y'all a couple of pictures of him. But my dad been receiving hair since he was 30 years old. And at that time, let's see, my dad is 78, 79 right now. Thanks, Reggie, 78. He'll be 79 this year. So what this happened 29 years ago? So he would have been 50. So at age 50, I'm pretty sure I'll try to find a picture and show y'all this is how my dad look at age 50. Not like that guy they want to say, because they saw some fat in the back of a neck or something like that. Greg Cadies know this. I wish Greg, he knows this guy. They figure out who this guy was. He was some guy that was worked, or they knew from New York or something. A Puerto Rican guy to be exact, that they found out who it was. But hey, clowns gonna be clowns. My dad didn't hang out with us. He wasn't being around that type of shit. My dad was strictly law enforcement. He wasn't stupid like me and my guy trying to make a little extra $300. He was in management. And so he wasn't running around no death row and all of that shit in 1996. But hey, y'all believe what y'all want.
Okay, the next point that people make is they say, why did you disarm the security guards? Can you just, I know we've talked about it, but can you explain that briefly?
No, y'all listen to Frank.
In this particular time when I got to Vegas the night before September 6th, on September 7th, we had a meeting at this attorney's office. And at this attorney's office, his name was George Clinesis, something like that. And we were told by him, this attorney, that we couldn't carry our guns and this and that, blah, 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 to the club that night. And it was three of us, like Michael Moore was one of them, myself, and Al Gittins, who is still with Snoop to this day, said, no, we carrying our guns. We're going to, we worked it out to where we were going to carry our guns, but we were going to have to leave them in our car while we were inside the club. Okay. And that's how my gun ended up in my car and not on my person that day. And I didn't have time to get my gun because my gun was on the other side of the valet where I had parked earlier that day. And when Pac and Suge was ready to go, they were ready to go. And I couldn't get to my car. I had a SL 500 also, at that time. And I couldn't get to it, so I didn't have it. And Pac, I was getting in the car with Pac and Suge. I literally had my hand on the back door, opening the back door. And Pac stopped me and turned and said, "Hey, Frank, here's the keys to Kadada's car. You go drive with the outlaws so you could be our designated driver and drive us back after we leave."
My husband sadly took his own life right in front of me, something that truly changed your life forever.
Oh, totally changed my life forever. And a million years did I ever expect my husband to do that. He had went to the movies all day, and he came home. And when he came home, I was extremely happy to see him. It's like a little girl whose daddy got home. And he just was sort of, didn't say very much, just walked into the house, went into his office, and his office that had all the Tupac. He had all his Tupac pictures and everything, all his, yeah. And he got into his gun safe. And I was like, I was just talking to him. I didn't think anything of it. He always messed around with his guns. It was no big deal. Just, that's who he was. And so he got into his gun safe. He got his gun out that he got from the Marine Corps when he was discharged. And it was a Beretta, and I think it was a Beretta 40 caliber. And he actually pointed the gun at me first. But in my conversation with him, never once expected that he would, I didn't even dawn on me any of that. He wasn't going to do anything. And then he smelt the gun, put the gun to his head, and he went bang. He said the word bang. I ran out of the room. I thought he was messing around. I really didn't think he would do something like that because he loved himself. So I ran back into the room, and I asked him to get up, but I smelled gunpowder and just, I knew then he took his life. He shot himself. So I went and grabbed the phone and ran out the house. I dialed 911. I told him he shot himself, but I couldn't remember. I don't remember a whole lot after all of that because I did get PTSD. The body has a way of protecting itself when it sees something that it's not supposed to see, I guess. I can't remember the blood. I can't remember his head was really messed up bad. He used a hollow point. There's a lot of things that I still can't remember, and it's been 8 years.
Thank you.
Okay, and then the last one is, people always talk about the Michael Moore got him thing that he heard over the walkie-talkie or over the radio.
I don't know where he's saying that we were supposed to do. 1 minute I heard we were supposed to have been in the club, or then the next minute I heard he said right, or some people say, I don't know what Michael said, but that was right before we was about to get in the car. And that's another thing. Y'all got the idiots keep talking about, how in the hell? Well, one idiot keeps saying, oh, you never went to the hospital. Reggie, why you never went to the hospital? Well, y'all want to believe Michael Moore about this got him shit, but y'all don't want to believe Michael Moore about me, Reggie, got in the car with George Khaleesi and we rode to the hospital together. Y'all always omit that. So how you going to believe one and believe another? But my whole thing is if it happened inside of the club, y'all go to a nightclub. We didn't have earpieces in our ear and all of that with the walkie-talkies. We're talking about the mid-90s. Go and try to hear something inside of a nightclub, okay? With the music playing and all of that, to be able to hear and make something like that out. But okay, say, no. It was outside and get in the car. I'm just telling y'all, this is something that Michael brought up 8 years. I think they started doing that DVD in 2004. RJ stayed away from it. When the interview with John, he said, I didn't do that interview with him. Frank and Michael brought that interview to me already done. And then we put it in the DVD. I'm telling y'all, that's some shit that Michael, if y'all haven't seen and how Michael talk, Michael think he's tough bad guy. This is a dude that was popping steroids, shooting up steroids, and thought he was, I hate Pac, I don't like Pac and all. He thought he was the toughest nigga around. Only nigga he was scared of was Reggie motherfucking Wright. That's why he always called Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright, you see how he talk about me when y'all hear that nigga talking on the phone? Nigga don't say nothing disrespectful. Because niggas know how I was in the 90s. But wasn't taking no shit from him because he's the only one that wouldn't give up his gun. Nigga, then you get your bitch ass sent home and you won't get paid. Is how Reggie dealt with shit in the 90s. Reggie wasn't one of those for playing with niggas. Didn't have time for it. Didn't need niggas like me. They came to me for work. I wasn't hunting them down for work. I all had people that wanted to work. So, and plus he was a fireman. I was doing him a favor. Only reason I really wanted him around because I thought him and Tim knew how to do CPR. And so that was just my ploy or my thinking for hiring them. They didn't have no concealed gun permit to carry. They only had to carry the exposed. But I figured, hey, my fat ass go down or somebody go down, these are firemen or whatever, they should know how to, at least do CPR or some shit. And plus I liked him. Mike was good. Mike was I like no nonsense guys. I didn't like the groupie motherfucker. Hey, can I take a picture with you and all that? I still hate a motherfucker like that. That's why y'all ain't never seen no picture with me posing with anybody. John say I do them now, and I have done them with Vlad and James and Alex Alonso and all that. But prior to 2015, only motherfucker y'all ever seen me take a picture with, that probably my daddy and my son when he was a baby. Anybody else? Reggie don't pose with pictures. Still kind of think that's the most groupiest shit ever, taking a picture with another man. That ain't me. But I do it now. I do it now.